Roth IRAs and 401ks only have two advantages. Get six. In this episode, I'm going to address the question, can I invest in a Roth IRA after retirement? Well, the short answer is yes, you can, but I would not recommend it. Learn why. So I'm Doug Andrew. I'm a financial strategist. I've been a retirement planning specialist for more than 46 years. I've written 11 books talking about how you can optimize your financial assets, minimize taxes, and empower your authentic wealth. Well, this particular question has been asked many, many times. And so the short answer, can you invest in a Roth IRA after retirement, is yes. But I said I wouldn't recommend it. Why would you want to do that? Now again, when you fund a Roth, you do it with after-tax dollars. Roth IRAs and then later 401ks, but they were first introduced in 1997 under the Taxpayer Relief Act, and Senator Harry Roth came up with the idea, hey, people are getting smarter. They're realizing that if you put money in a traditional IRA or 401k with pre-tax dollars and defer and then take out money in retirement, they're not in lower brackets anymore. People are getting smart. Savvy people don't want to do that. They'd rather pay tax on the seed money, the contributions, and accumulate the money tax-free and later access it tax-free, because if you think taxes are going to be higher in the future, that's way better than a traditional IRA or 401k. I can prove that all day long. He didn't do it really for us. It's because the government was hard up for money. It was for them. And so he says, let's dangle a huge carrot out there to the American public. If you want, you can convert to a Roth. And if you do that, it triggers tax. So you're paying the tax, and then it's accumulating tax-free, and later it's going to be tax-free when you take it out. That triggered tax revenue for the government. Now, it was for them, not for us, but I'm not saying it wasn't a good idea for some people. But I've never owned a Roth, never will. And so here's why, especially if you're retired, if you're asking the question, can I invest in a Roth IRA during or after I've retired? Yeah, but what are you trying to accomplish? If you're trying to put in some after-tax money and then have it accumulate tax-free and take it out tax-free, those are the only two advantages a Roth has. I think you ought to consider what many savvy CPAs and tax attorneys refer to as the rich man's Roth. And you don't have to be rich to have one of these. You want to know what it is? So, as I indicated, Roths allow you to fund it with after-tax dollars, but the two advantages, you accumulate your money tax-free, and later on when you access the money, hopefully it will be tax-free. Now people say, hopefully? You mean the government could change this? Yep, they've been known to do all kinds of things like that. The last time was in 2008. Most Americans don't realize how much trouble we were in this country. It's why David Walker, the comptroller for the General Accountability Office, resigned, because he wanted to tell the American public how much trouble we were in financially in this country. The Obama administration wouldn't let him do it, so he resigned. And so what happened in that downturn, Australia had their equivalent of a Roth, and they said, hey, we were just kidding. We need the money more than you do. And so we're going to determine if you have more money in your Roths than we think is necessary. It was like 100,000 or more. We're going to go in tomorrow and deduct 20% or whatever out of everybody's Roths. That is your tax now. So they can change. You can't believe how close the Obama administration came to doing that thing or being prepared to do it. So I don't like the strings attached with qualified plans like that. But my favorite vehicle for years is what many savvy CPAs and tax attorneys refer to as the rich man's Roth. Now, you don't have to be rich to have this, but see, the rich can't own a Roth. They make too much money. That's why I would consider a maximum funded indexed universal life insurance contract that's designed and structured for living benefits, tax-free living benefits for retirement, college funding. You don't have to use it for retirement. There's no strings attached. In other words, you don't have to wait till you're 59 and a half if you want to start taking out tax-free income. You don't have to start taking it out at age 72 in order to avoid a 50% penalty. There's no required minimum distributions or anything like that. I don't like all those strings attached. My favorite vehicle is a max-funded indexed universal life, which I call the Laser Fund. My most recent book is titled that. Laser, L-A-S-E-R, is an acronym that stands for Liquid Assets Safely Earning Returns. And so I want my money liquid. I want it safe. I don't want to lose money due to market volatility. Most IRAs and 401ks and Roths are in the market. You shouldn't have your money in there when you're retired, especially after you've retired. You need predictable income. And so when I put money into a laser fund, it's liquid, safe, it earns predictable rates of return. I've averaged 10% for the last 25 years, 10.07 to be exact. And that's tax-free. That's net after all fees and costs of the insurance that the IRS says has to be there in order for it to qualify to be tax-free in the Internal Revenue Code, okay? The Laser Fund has 4 advantages that Roths will never have. Are you ready? I'm going to disclose them to you right now. So what I call the Laser Fund has the 2 benefits of Roth, and they've been around a lot longer than Roths have. Roths came out in 1997. The Laser Fund, max-funded tax-free accumulation, access, and transferability of money inside of an insurance contract, has been protected in the Internal Revenue Code for over a century in Section 72E, 7702, and 101A of the Internal Revenue Code. Those 3 sections are what allow you to accumulate your money tax-free, access your money tax-free, take out income tax-free for life, and when you ultimately pass away, it blossoms in value and transfers income tax-free. Let's say I have a banner year in my business and I want to deposit $300,000 into my Laser Fund. I can do that if I structured it to accommodate that much money. You cannot do that with a Roth. You're restricted based on a percent of your income or a dollar amount. If I design it to hold up to $300,000 and I only put in $30,000, 1/10 that, no problem. I could have put in another $270,000. I can do that in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th year and future years. I can make up for room I didn't use. You can't do that with a Roth. Once the tax year is gone, you cannot make up for what you could have put in previous years. So it has far more flexibility. But here's the big one. If I put $300,000 into my Laser Fund and 30 days later I need $250,000 back out to use for my business or whatever, emergency, real estate opportunity, I can do that. There's no penalties. I can access money at any time for any reason. You have to wait 5 years or till you're 59 and a half. You can't do that with a Roth. With the Laser Fund, I can link my returns to an index. Indexing allows me to participate in the market indirectly without my money at risk in the market. That means if I link it to the S&P or the Dow Jones, my money's not invested in the market in the Standard & Poor's 500. Whatever the S&P does, the insurance company must pay me up to a cap. I have earned, like in 2017, I earned 16% on some, I earned 25% on others. But in years where the market crashes, I don't lose, because my money's not in the market. I may not make anything that year, but I don't lose. And so my average returns have been in excess of 10% net cash on cash using the Laser Fund, totally tax-free. The last benefit is going to blow you away. So the 6th advantage, number 4, in addition to the 2 that come with a Roth, is that when I finally die, because none of us are getting out of here alive. I mean, not out of this video. I mean, out of this life. And so when I pass away, the only instrument in the Internal Revenue Code that allows you to accumulate your money tax-free and then be able to access your money tax-free, but when you ultimately die, it blossoms. It increases in value instantly and transfers income tax-free, is a Laser Fund. A Roth will never do that. On that last point, let me use an example. I'm 68 right now. If I died in an accident tomorrow, every million that I would have in my portfolio of Laser Funds would instantly blossom to 2.5 million and transfer totally income tax-free to my wife, my kids, church, charity, the Boy Scouts, the Red Cross, whoever I want to leave it to. There's not a Roth around that will blossom and transfer tax-free. And people say, well, how much does that cost? The way that I structure mine, nothing. Now, it's not free, nothing's free, but it's paid for out of a minuscule portion of money that would otherwise go out the window in unnecessary taxes where most people put their money. So, in summary, I love the laser fund for retirement planning. You could put money into a Roth, but why would you when you can have the two benefits of a Roth and 4 additional? I can put in large lump sums. I can make up for years that I didn't put in the full amount that I could have put in. I can access money at any time for any reason. I can use indexing and participate when the market goes up and not lose when the market goes down to create predictable cash flow, payouts of 8 to 10% a year if I live to be 120. And when I ultimately die, it blossoms and transfers income tax-free. So that's why I prefer the laser fund. Now, if this is intriguing you, my most recent book, book number 11, is called The Laser Fund. These are flying off of our warehouse shelves. This is actually 2 books in one. This one is 200 pages, 14 chapters, charts, graphs, explanations. This side is about 100 pages, 12 chapters with 62 actual client stories. So if you would like to claim your free copy, I'll buy the book. You just simply pay $5.95 shipping and handling, and I'll fire one out to you. I'll pay for the book. You go to laserfund.com. There's also options there if you prefer to listen and learn or watch and learn, and you can get video and audio formats also. So here's to your brighter future. Learn what you can do better.